You can get a pair just like these on the plaza deck. The shorts, not the legs.
Gangway! Lunch empty coming through!
Go!
Wow, Bumpy sees.
What was your childhood game? Now, I'm being very general here, and don't worry, there could be multiple answers to this question. On top of my head, I can definitely label a few that would fall within that category. Star Wars, The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, Lego Indiana Jones, Ben 10, Protector of Earth, and, of course, the best game there is, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. But one of these games definitely stands out, and I'm not just talking about the video games that you played and loved as a kid. I'm talking about games that shaped you, and guided not only your taste in games, but kind of made you into the person you are today. For me, if I'd had to put a name to it, it would be Amnesia the Dark Descent. I've given a lot of thought into this, and honestly, I can't see where I would be if I didn't play and watch probably every YouTuber back in the day play this. I mean, I probably wouldn't have a YouTube channel if I didn't watch Markiplier play this game multiple times.
Hey, did you tell them about your Markiplier shrine yet?
Dude, shut up! Amnesia is a physics-based first-person horror puzzle game made by Frictional Games, which have made games like this before, such as the Penumbra series and Soma. But Amnesia is one of those IPs that kind of put them on the map. It's definitely one of their most popular ones, alongside Soma, all of which are great games, by the way, except for Requiem. Don't play Penumbra Requiem. It was released in 2010, and honestly, it's an amazing example of Lovecraftian or cosmic horror to this day. And Frictional Games is releasing another entry to the series in May, Amnesia Bunker. So, I decided to play the original Amnesia and see if it holds up. First, let's talk about the issues. I didn't have any problems playing or running. The game ran at a solid 60. I could have sworn that there were some frame drops, but I think I might have just been seeing things. Also, if you're one of those guys that plays at 90 FPS, 120, or 180 FPS, I don't play at those FPSs. I didn't really try them out, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. However, something that people might not be able to look past is the lack of an FOV slider. The FOV stuck at 70. This game is over 13 years old, so it's understandable why they wouldn't have an FOV slider back then, and this wasn't really a problem for me. I didn't notice the FOV too much, but then again, in horror games, I think they definitely benefit from a lower FOV. It makes you feel a little more claustrophobic as opposed to a higher FOV, which, you know, kind of reveals more, you know? And don't get me wrong, a higher FOV is definitely nice for shooters, but for horror games, like I said, that claustrophobic feeling can definitely help the, you know, the tension in the air. However, I also do understand that some people don't like low FOVs. It can make them sick. So, there are ways to increase your FOV manually. You have to go into the files to do that. I won't tell you how to do it because there's plenty of tutorials, not only online on Google, but in the Steam community that can tell you how to manually change the FOV. No other issues, and all that aside, let's get into the premise.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
You are...
Daniel.
Daniel. You wake up in a ruined castle without any recollection of events prior to waking up, and very quickly you find that there's something strange going on. There's all these distant screams, footsteps, you know, something's afoot. You eventually find a small note from your past self saying that you purposely forgot your own memories through drinking something. Looks like Pepto-Bismol. He tells you that not only is this shadow hunting you, he also tells you, well, asks you to kill an old man for him.
God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum. find Alexander and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours young and
This is the
strong.
last time I drink
He will
Pepto
be
before
no
bed.
match for you. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
And the game begins. Let's talk about the visuals. The game actually looks pretty fine, all things considered. It is 13 years old, so you can definitely see age in a few places, but it's by no means bad. The lighting itself, while it's not as good as games like Fear, is kind of stylized and colored and kind of fits each location that it's in. The locations, however, are all a bit samey. It's just a lot of cobblestone. Cobblestone. So much cobblestone. Jesus Christ, churches would love this place. It's all just stone. Jesus. Oh, and the monsters haven't really held up at all. Maybe it was just me, but they don't look that scary. They're just goofy. Look at this dude. Look at him. It's fucking gross. He's not scary, he's goofy. What the fuck are those, goat eyes? This guy doesn't even have a face. This guy's not even visible. He doesn't want you to see what he looks like. So goofy he is. Sanity also makes your vision wobbly a little bit. I'll get more into the sanity, the kind of gameplay aspect of that in a minute, but it is a little annoying, but you can turn off the effects that sanity have in the options. So, you know, it's fine if you don't like that. If you get annoyed by that, you can change it. The sound definitely makes up for the lack in visuals. It's kind of the glue holding the game together. The music itself really kind of shows itself when it's necessary. Kind of tells you when you should feel safe, builds tension, also kind of tells you where to run. I honestly couldn't tell half the time if it was just ambient noises that were playing or if it was music. I think it's a bit of a mix of both. Speaking of the ambience, it is very good, and I think definitely builds the horror of this game a lot better than the music does. Don't get me wrong, the music is great and serves its purpose, especially in like a frantic chase, but the haunting sounds based on like what location you're in definitely kind of immerses you in that environment. The sound also kind of tricks you a little bit. Not that it, like, misleads you necessarily, but it's more like you're kind of in, like, a haunted house. That kind of sounds like an insult, but it's kind of the best way I can describe it. Sometimes you'll hear, like, footsteps above you, and you'll look, and there was nothing there to begin with. You'll hear screams and distant noises, like a woman getting stabbed or like a dog getting kicked. Probably nothing. I think somebody's in there. Like I said, haunted house, but in a good way. On top of that, there's also the siren. The siren happens whenever a monster spots you and gives chase. It slowly builds into this grand shrieking into your ears. Builds that tension on the back of your neck like the monster is just seconds away from getting you. Oh shit! Now onto the gameplay. This is a puzzle game, so to put it bluntly, you're gonna be solving puzzles. Also, since this game has physics, almost every item can be picked up, thrown, and fucked with respectfully. At your disposal is your trusty lantern. It consumes oil and lights up the immediate vicinity. Also at your disposal are tinderboxes that you can use to light torches, candles, fireplaces, etc. You also have health and sanity. Those aren't tools, I just couldn't think of a transition. Health is self-explanatory. The sanity, however, requires some explanation. This being a kind of Lovecraftian horror game, it has sanity. And, as sanity normally goes, experiencing unnatural events, looking at monsters, and being in the dark makes your sanity go down. Stare at the corner. Stare at the corner, Daniel. It's okay, buddy. We're gonna get you through this. Your sanity can only go up when you make progress, such as finding an item that you need, or going into a new area, stuff like that. The part about the dark might have made you scratch your head a bit. You see, Daniel has nyctophobia, also known as little bitch boy syndrome, meaning that he has a phobia of the dark and needs a night light to sleep at night.
What's the reason for the darkness, that is?
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
But his little bitch boy phobia provides an interesting dilemma. You don't want to stay in the dark too long because, well, yes, while you could crouch in the dark the entire time and never be spotted by monsters, you're gonna go insane while you're doing that. And the more insane you are, the easier you are to spot. At least that's what the game says. But the monsters can see you if you have your lantern out, so the lack of sanity is preferable to being killed. Probably. Having low sanity also makes your vision wobbly, kind of like you're wearing one of those drunk glasses. And it also makes your mouse harder to control, as well as making you prone to hallucinations and collapsing on the ground like a little bitch. I don't have any footage of hallucinations. I'm sorry, it never happened to me. And having your sanity go down while looking at monsters encourages you to not look at them, to save you from laughing uncontrollably and hurting their feelings. it's close. Too close for comfort. The sanity, the sound, the siren, everything kind of culminates into this just horrifying atmosphere, this tension in the air that you could cut with the knife. It's fucking amazing. Then there's hard mode. In hard mode, monsters one-shot you, resources are scarce, sanity can get you killed, and you also can't save anytime you want. You need tinder boxes to do that, 4 of them specifically. I think this could be the better way to play. The game discourages looking at monsters even more, and the lack of saving the game whenever builds up a greater tension. Knowing that getting spotted means you go back to your last save and dying in one hit builds up that anticipation greatly. However, the sanity can be frustrating to manage. Not impossible, just frustrating. Hear me out on this. You know those spooky moments that I was talking about earlier? Yeah, I don't exactly know what to call them. I'm just going to keep calling them spooky events. They're scripted. They happen no matter what, even if you try to avoid them. And because your sanity can kill you by getting too low, it means that it's basically a second health bar, and these moments are scripted, like I said. Almost all of them are unavoidable. But that's fine, so long as you beeline to every objective. But if it's your first playthrough, you're not gonna know where these events and these objectives are. Specifically, I had trouble in the prison. I first played this on hard mode because I felt like it would be the better experience. And I was right. The game was tenser, scarier, it was great. But I was getting really fucking angry at the prison. I wasn't able to light up my area because I needed to save my tinder boxes for, saving the game. And I ran out of oil early on. Should have been saving it, but I didn't know that. So now I'm stuck inside the prison, wandering around in the dark, not knowing where I'm going, constantly losing sanity, and constantly running into these scripted events where I'm always losing sanity. And eventually, you just die from lack of sanity. Out of nowhere. Dude, my sanity is fucking bad. I died. I died because my sanity was so low. Shit. But like, these spooky events really fuck my sanity. Unless they don't. But the game says that spooky events, they like your sanity, like real bad. So how is it fair that I can't tell where they are? You know what I mean? Because I assume when he does that, I assume that's a scary thing. But how am I supposed to avoid those? You know what I mean? Even back there, I knew the fucking guy was gonna come out of the shadows and all that shit, so I turned away, but I still got scared. In the normal game, it wouldn't be as bad, but my issue is that now, if that thing gets too low, I'm gonna die, but I don't have constant control over, when it goes down. I would then say play with a guide or a walkthrough, but almost all of them tell you where the monsters are, and this game has a story. So a wiki or a walkthrough should be the last place to go. So even though hard mode is better, you should play it on normal mode first, then go back and play it on hard. Trust me, it's worth it.
She deserved it, that little bitch.
Let's get into extras. We're gonna just skip past the story for this whole review or retrospective or whatever you want to call this. I don't really have too many problems with it, and I think it's best experienced if you're playing the game. It's not bad, but then again, I'm not very critical of those kinds of things. I play games to, for the game. There is a little miniature game that comes with this called Amnesia Justine. It is very short. It's like less than half an hour. It also has multiple endings, just like the base game. And speaking of multiple endings, inside the files of Amnesia, there is a file called Super Secret. And each of these endings give you a code. You combine those 3 codes, put it into that file, and it'll give you a bunch of concept art, unused audio logs, alpha footage, like a lot of really cool stuff. Along with that, there's some developer commentary in the game that you can turn on. And on top of both of those things, there's also a PDF with a bunch of short stories that isn't in that super secret file. It's just in a PDF that you can read as is. It's really neat. And I like it when games do stuff like this. It just kind of gives you a little bit of extra after the game is done. And not to mention, there's also custom stories. I haven't played any of them, but I've seen a lot of pretty good ones. Amadeus, I hear, is pretty good. So if you wanted to try a custom story, I would try that one. I've heard good things about it. And besides that, that's basically all I have to say on this game. And I think it goes without saying, but I think Amnesia is still well worth playing even today. It's currently $20, but there will probably be a sale on it soon, since Amnesia the Bunker is going to come out. And I doubt they wouldn't have like a Steam sale or something like that for the celebration of that release. I do think this game would be scarier for somebody who didn't play it a lot and didn't watch a lot of YouTubers play it back in the day, but I still think it's very fun. And with hardcore mode, it definitely added some tension back into the game and gave me a reason to come back and play it. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I kind of have a hard time making videos like this. I think I just really hate listening to my own voice, but either way, as I said before, thank you for watching. And I might take a look into the next games in the series. Kind of depends what I'm feeling. Not sure. But either way, thank you for watching again, and see you next time.